Hey guys, welcome to Sprint 3. I know that we're already in it. And what I'm doing here is kind of reviewing some of the items that we currently have on the board, and I want to kind of talk through some of them and what they mean and so forth. I think it's important to ensure that I am providing you exactly what they mean because I think there's some confusion. So for example, create tables. I know that Monica, you created a table. Kai, there's a status shippers, whatever. Kai has already created all these tables. I was already looking at them in the environment. So what I'm going to do is I create a new task that will script all these, because those who will be doing the API will need to set up a local environment based off of that same data. So the thing is, when you're building your local environment for the API, unfortunately, you can't connect. Well, you can't connect to the database directly because there's a SSL thing. So it's best that we're all on a separate page, just playing with it, make sure it works if you're doing it. And we can talk about when that comes. So I'll script those. I created a task for myself to do that. That should take me about 15 minutes, and I'll post it somewhere. So all these task number 186 all the way to 210, 191 should be closed. Kai has already done those. So what we'll do is we'll get those. What I'll do is attach those scripts that he created to those, close them, and then you'll be able to still access them. The other thing is populating the tables. I know that Rob was going to be working on populate products table. So Rob, you'll need full access to the production environment. I recommend using PG Admin. Download it. You could do an import. If you have problems, let me know. Monica, I see that you're picking up 194. You'll also need the same thing. So what I'll do is I'll post the credentials, how to connect to the use PG Admin. I'll send you the username, password, all that stuff. Connect to the environment, and you'll be able to populate the tables. There are some other ones out there as well. So 196, populate shipment details. But here's the thing, remember this, when you're populating these tables, you gotta be very careful. You gotta make sure that the data that you have is good. You can't just post shit that doesn't work. Let's say that you have 1,000 rows and you post and you only post 50, but the other 950 don't post because something doesn't work. You gotta validate that that's right, because this is not a project that you're working on and you're going to get a grade. Yes, you are, but this is for a real client. So remember that going into it. So there's that, populate information. So there's a lot of good work out there. And then also added some new tasks. So I added task 204 to 209, and these are map out table for API. So the first one I set up for Colin to take on 204. So when it says map out to table, what does that mean? So for example, Kai's created a table, so it'll be helpful for you to understand what the table is. And for mapping out the customers, this will be helpful when someone is working on the queries on the back end for the API. So for example, map out customers table for API. What does that mean? So start thinking about the screen that you guys created in class. Think about what queries need to be on that page. So one of the things that we did in the demo, when we were going through the demo with the client, one of the things that they asked, and Rob put some notes out there, which is great, thanks Rob, you type a customer's name into Jeff Seaman. So what they expect to happen is all the information below that populates. So that would be one query right there. So a query would need to be able to query the data against the customer database, but only provide the fields that we need for. And the where clause right there is where customer equals, customer name. So in this case, it's one star, one X, or whatever the heck it is, one. So that would be query number one. And maybe query number two is a post. So that's a get, and the next one will be a post, because we need to be able to save this information. So that's two queries. So the second query, one query is a select statement. The other query is an insert statement. So you need to insert the data. And then also you need to be able to update the data as well. New customer, insert, existing customer, update, and then obviously retrieving the information. So those are three things I can think of right now. Now, are there any other ones? Maybe, maybe not. So that is how you're supposed to think. So when you map this out, I want this done in Excel or Sheets, something equivalent. Put like the table name, put what you're expecting to pull back. If you're having challenges and this seems too complicated, come to me. Don't submit a bunch of bullshit that makes zero sense, has nothing to do with this project, because you're going to get a zero. I mean, this is a real client, so we have to be legit about it. So don't submit shit. Reach out to me, please. I can't stress it enough. I only say this because some of you have already did that to me. All right, moving on. All right, so we have another one, create repository. I'll do that. Add users to the repository. I'll take care of that. Create a shell for environment. I'll actually do all three of those. So that's task 212, 213, and 221. I've already assigned to myself. Now, it's up to you. If you're going to be handling API stuff, build out a sandbox. Same thing that you're doing in the current environment. Right now we have to build out the server configuration. We have to build out the database configuration, and the database configuration, just basic information, just like we did on the students. You're going to have the local versus production when you run it. The thing is, what we can't build out yet is we can't build out the controller. We can't build out the query, so I can't add those tasks yet, because the reason why is because task 204 to 209 for mapping out, those need to be completed before I can even add those tasks, because I don't know what we need. So like, for example, we'll have a user story that says create queries for shipment page, and on their shipment page we'll have the tasks, and that'll be based off of the mapping structure. Okay, and those are all in sprint 3. So we have a lot of work. So we have 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We have 16 create entity relationship. No one's did that yet. 17. So we have 17 tasks that are new that have not been, we have 17 new tasks. I've assigned a few to myself. So I'm looking at, we have 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 that are unassigned. And then when I'm looking at active, I see that we have 6 that are active, maybe 8 that are active. Okay, so there's plenty of work to go around. So I know some of you I've told pick out some stuff. Here's the thing, even for advanced programming and the senior management, there's a lot of work out here to do, guys. There's plenty of work to pass around. So please pick something up. If you're unsure of it, set a meeting up with me. We'll walk through it and see what you're supposed to do. I know this is not like a conventional class, but it's an important, to do it right. And then I don't have this out here on, I do have it. Map out customer table for API. Okay. Sprint 5. So if you see items for Sprint 5, don't touch those, please. Build pipeline and promote API to cloud platform. That's a couple sprints away. That'll be when we know that we have all the code done in GitHub, and then I could build a pipeline between GitHub and the host cloud platform. And then, so don't submit anything, because I got that. You can't. It's not that you can't. It's just I have to do it. And deploy it, but there'll be features in there that you can do. Like, for example, I have general task messages that I'll change, test post messages, test retrieve messages, test update messages. So anything that you're going to save, anything that you're going to update, and anything that you're going to add or get, we need to test all that and make sure it all works, because if it doesn't, then we got problems. Okay, so there's a lot of work to be done out here. Okay, so I want to see communications doing good. I know that the last couple of sprints were difficult. I see a lot of people. I'm starting to see more people involved. I see Kai, I see Rob, I see Tyler's all over the place. Tyler, the original Tyler, number 2, but Hillard. I see Ethan. So I'm seeing all these different people. So I'm not seeing everyone. So don't say that you're working on something that's already been done. That's bullshit. That's laziness. And I'm not being mean about this, but actually work on something. If you want to pass a class, reach out to me because we're kind of at the midway point right now. We need to start, we got to make sure stuff works, and it's not going to be easy because once we get the API working and we move stuff over, then the next thing that we have to do, we'll have to start talking about how do we call the API from the JavaScript? How are we going to do that? Because some of those processes are not going to be easy. Like for example, the IntelliSense stuff where you start typing stuff in. So what they're used to is Microsoft Access. They make that easy for you. It's already predefined logic. Now we have to define that logic, and how do we define it? So that's going to be tough. So it's almost like we have to type it out, and when you're typing behind it, it's doing an action event. So it's going to be an on touch. So when you type something out, it's going to have to be making an API call to pull that information back. Now me specifically, I think a drop down list of values would be easier. We could do a distinct of all customers, and then we could load that in quickly, and they could pull that information back. I think that would be the easiest way of doing it, but we'll see when the time comes. Anyways, if you have questions, reach out to me. You know where I'm at. I want to see all the stand-up posts. That's another thing. I have not seen, I think last week, only seen 4 stand-up posts. So it makes me wonder, I mean, I could look at your code. Okay, Kai did Kai, Pedro, Tyler, Hillard, Monica, and Rob. You guys have been very active, so thank you. The rest of you, I didn't see shit, man. I'm not trying to be rude about it, but I didn't see anything. If you didn't do anything, get on here and say, I didn't do anything. Okay? All right, guys. Thanks for watching. You know where to contact me. Bye.